Hello, hello, hello. Hola, hola, hola. Welcome to a new episode of the Yoga for All Bodies video podcast. As you can see on your screen, today I have an incredible guest for you. Elaine Oyang is a certified yoga therapist who helps individuals with persistent pain and chronic illness rise above the limitations of their symptoms and create a life of resilience with yoga. She combines her passion and knowledge for pain science with yoga therapy to bring holistic, comprehensive, and nurturing support. Hi, Elaine.
Hi, Natalia.
How
Thanks for
are
having
you?
me. I'm doing very good. Thank you for asking.
And I'm so excited to be talking with you because I love what you're doing. And it's so needed. Yes, yes, yes.
Oh, thank you so much. I mean, I'm just glad that I have this opportunity to share with your audience as well. And like you said, I think it's just a needed thing in the yoga, not just the yoga realm, but everywhere. I mean, we all believe as yoga teachers that everyone needs yoga. So, of course, the more we can shout from the rooftop, the better, right?
Absolutely. Yes, yes, yes. So I would like to know, how did yoga came to your life?
It came into my life, 15 years ago now. So I was quite young, and I went to a class out of curiosity, not knowing what to expect. And I really enjoyed my first few classes. And back then I was 16, 17. So it was more like a physical thing for me, but it also helped me. I tend to be anxious. So it also helped me kind of just focus on myself rather than thinking of what other people are thinking of me. I tend to be competitive as well, so it was like a kind of an escape for me in a way, just from the pressure of everyday life. And after college, I studied biology, but after college, I decided I wanted to do something that actually has a better and more direct impact on people's lives. And at that time, the answer was yoga. So I gave it a try. I started teaching. That was 10 years ago. And then here I am again today, still teaching and following that little gut instinct 10 years ago of pursuing this journey. And here I am today with you and sharing my passion with everyone out here.
Love it. And when did you notice that you wanted to become a yoga teacher? What were the signs that life gave you?
I think, like I said, I really had this passion of wanting to make an impact in people's lives. And after I finished college, I just didn't see myself working in like biology labs, because it wasn't, I mean, I know I was doing some work to contribute to the society, but it's such a slow process, and it's shut behind the doors in laboratories, if there's no human contact. And I really like having human contact and just seeing the impact I have in their faces and how they show up. And so after college, the other choice I had was just, okay, maybe I'll try being a yoga teacher. Who knows what it'll become. Like, I always have my degree, my biology degree, to fall back on. So, I had the privilege, I had the opportunity to just take that leap. My family actually really supported my decision. And since they saw that I was actually, pretty good, they continue supporting me till this day.
Amazing. And how did you decide, or how did you end up in this specialty, in this niche that is yoga for chronic pain?
Yeah, this happened quite, I would say, serendipitously. I was, at that point, I was teaching yoga. This was 2014 or so. I was teaching yoga in studios. Back then, I was teaching mostly vinyasa classes, hatha yoga classes, flow, and it didn't feel very satisfying for me. Like, I love what I teach, but I wanted a little bit more. I wanted to, like I said, make impact in people's lives. And one day, one of the students came up to me after class And she's actually a physical therapist working at a chronic pain clinic, and they have this integrative program. She asked me to come teach for them once a week or so for their patients. And that was how I got my foot into the door with chronic pain, working with chronic pain patients and clients. And at that time, I didn't have a lot of training beyond my 200-hour and teaching vinyasa classes. And when I saw there's this group of people in need of yoga, and yoga, there's so much yoga can offer beyond just like poses. There's breathing, there's stress management, there's the yoga philosophy and lifestyle that can help them overcome all the other aspects of chronic pain, not just physically, but also emotionally and spiritually and mentally. And so I embarked on another 800-hour training to become a certified yoga therapist. And since then, I've just been really diving into the work of working with people with chronic pain through one-on-one private sessions, and most recently, since COVID, trying to bring everything online and create group programs, small group programs, and workshops.
Incredible. You mentioned so many interesting things. So first, I would like to ask you, how would you define chronic pain and chronic illness? Who are those people?
Right, yeah. Chronic pain is anyone who had pain that persists for over 3 to 6 months. So for someone who, for example, had an accident or a surgery, and they've healed and recovered physically, but sometimes, the body has memory. The body remembers the trauma of that accident or injury, or even a surgery. And for some people, it's that memory lingers a little bit more in their bodies, and creates stress or anxiety, which actually feeds back into the chronic pain. Not that it's in their head or anything, it's just how the body works. And so, for a lot of people, they might go back to the checkup, and the doctors will be like, everything looks fine, your x-rays look fine, everything's healed, but they still feel a lot of pain. And this is where the pain science that I've been researching and also studying comes in terms of how do we use lifestyle and understanding pain, and also yoga philosophy. There's a lot in yoga philosophy that can actually help with understanding how to overcome this change in your body. How can we unchange and unlearn these habits of the body creating more pain? Because over time, the body actually does create more pain once you've been in pain, which is this tricky loop. And yoga has a lot of tools to help us kind of break out of that cycle as well. With chronic illness, these are things like your autoimmune disorder. So I see a lot of people with rheumatoid arthritis, or lupus, and other chronic pain disorders, which are not quite in the category of autoimmune disorder, but chronic illness, fibromyalgia. And for a lot of these chronic illness, pain and mobility issues are symptoms of their illness. And to, have suddenly your life turned upside down fairly quickly, that can be quite shocking and traumatizing. So a lot of the work that I do is also kind of guiding people in taking back their life little by little in whatever ways, from how they can start, where they can start, and just meet them where they are and support them throughout the way.
Absolutely. One more time, this work is so needed. Yes. I have family members that live with chronic pain, and they live by day, actually.
Right.
You don't know how you're going to feel, if your body is going to be able to be with you during your work. Yes. So
right.
Thank you for the work you're doing. Yes.
Oh,
and in
welcome.
the same line, what would you say is the difference between a traditional, let's say, vinyasa flow and the type of yoga that you teach?
Sure. Yeah. So throughout my years of practicing yoga and teaching yoga, I've definitely come across a lot of different styles of yoga, vinyasa, ashtanga, vini yoga, hatha, restorative, and you name it. I basically have taken some classes. And the difference between what I do is that it's very individualized. It's not, I do teach group classes, but it's small group. It's usually 10 or under. And what I do is I really take time to understand each of my students. So if I have a new student coming into class, I'll reach out to them and say, hey, I notice you're new to class. Would you be open just to chat for 10 minutes and so I can get to know you? And so that when they are in a group class environment, I know what to look out for, and I know how to instruct the class where I can keep it safe, accessible, and trauma-informed for everyone. So that's one difference. In my one-on-one session, I mean, that gets even more personalized, right? So that's definitely a more intimate relationship between my student and myself. And really I almost say like I become like a partner detective with my client, like Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson. Like a lot of times chronic pain, chronic illness, we don't know what's happening in the body and why it does what it does. For some people, they can heal and bounce back. For others, it might be something they have to manage for the rest of their lives. So I like to just get in there with my client because I don't have all the answers. The doctors don't have all the answers. The client doesn't have all the answers, but we all know something a little different. And if we can work together and piece it together, maybe we can find something to at least help them live better, if not thrive, in spite of their pain. And that's really my goal and my mission when I work with my clients is like, how can we make the best of this current situation right now? Because like you said, we don't know what you're going to be like tomorrow with chronic pain or chronic illness. It's just so unpredictable. But how can we use the tools we have from yoga therapy, and other things that have worked for yourself? How can you create a plan so that you have tools for all kinds of rainy days chucked at you, all kinds of storms, So that's really the work I do. I mean, I teach yoga, but I also teach a lot of other things too.
Amazing. And how does a class look like? How long is it, or it varies depending on the student? What can you share about that?
Sure. So most of my classes are about an hour, both private sessions and small group classes. And really, most of the time we are either lying down on the floor, very restorative, very gentle, very nourishing practices, or seated up. And if someone can't sit like cross-leg position on the floor, I always offer a variety of options, such as sitting on a chair or sitting on your bed or sitting on your couch. So whatever makes it most accessible for you. I try to make it as low barrier as possible, especially with chronic pain. It to just pull out the mat can be like a chore already. So if they happen to be in bed, I'm like, yeah, just use your bed. So lots of props, not necessarily yoga props. You can use pillows, you can use just whatever you have, again, as low barrier as possible, because I don't want that to be an obstacle for people. It's like, oh, I don't have yoga props. I can't do yoga. I know you love getting creative as well. So I definitely get some inspiration from you when it comes to propping. But my philosophy usually is the more we can support and nourish the body, whether that's using props or using yoga poses that feels really safe and soothing for the individual, the more you're tending to your body, and your body will always give back what it can.
Totally agree. Yes.
Yeah.
And you mentioned before the importance of yoga philosophy. So how would you say that the teachings of yoga and also asana can impact pain management and the life of someone living with chronic pain or a chronic illness?
Sure. I'll start with the easier part, which is the asana, which most people are more familiar about. So the asana are the yoga postures that we do, like the posture, the movement. And all of these have certain not only energetic effect, but of course physical effect as well. So I use asana for someone who may have like lower back pain or chronic neck and shoulder pain, to just help them manage that discomfort and that pain and that tension for the moment. But ultimately, what I'm aiming for is having them shift their perspective a little bit about their own body and their life. What yoga philosophy and yoga offers so beautifully is that it encourages us to get back in touch with ourselves. And the problem when you have been living with chronic pain for so long is that it's tempting to just kind of shut down your connection with your body and try to distract yourself with something else, whatever that may be for you. But there's the answer often comes back into your body. So I always like to say, lean into your body, then lean away, or befriend your body rather than become strangers with it. So that's another thing that yoga offers so beautifully through asana, through pranayama or breathing, and also guided relaxation practices. And in terms of yoga philosophy, I think what most people who kind of come into yoga are probably most familiar with are the yamas and the niyamas, and the most common one being ahimsa or non-harming, non-violence. And while it may feel like your body has totally betrayed you with the pain and the illness, ultimately it's a vehicle where it always wants to get better. And the symptoms, I like to say, sometimes they're trying to tell you something in your environment is wrong, is dangerous, something you have to change, but it doesn't tell you what it is. So you definitely have to go inside and look and see what is it I can change right now that can put harm out of my way, that can nourish my body and support my body. And just because your body's in pain doesn't mean it doesn't need support and nourishment. So just taking kind of one little bit of yoga philosophy in here to kind of give you an example of how yoga philosophy supports the path and journey towards pain management.
Super important tool. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we forget all the time.
Absolutely.
Every day.
Yes. So I always think, and I say to myself this, I discovered yoga like when I was a teenager. But of course, life got in the way and I stopped practicing. And I started with yoga nidra. So I was super connected with my mind, with my body. But then life got in the way. And we start going out, having boyfriends, getting jobs, hustling every day. And it's so important that we have these tools that you were mentioning, something like non-violence towards your body, towards your mind. Because at the end of the day, with this body, we experience life. Mm-hmm. We experience love. We experience growth. Mm-hmm. So, yes.
Yeah, all of that is a beautiful human experience, including pain. I mean, hard to swallow and hard to acknowledge, but including pain is part of the human experience and human emotion. And I like to say we use our yoga to support ourselves in whatever direction life takes us.
Beautifully said. Yes. And in Yoga for All Bodies, as you were mentioning, it's all about props. So I would like to know, what is your favorite yoga prop and why?
My favorite yoga prop are these thick, luxurious blankets that I have. I don't have one near me. They're downstairs. But if you look at my posts, my videos on Instagram, you'll see them. These are really thick plaid and cotton blankets, and they're so warm and cozy, and they fold them nicely so they can double as bolsters as well. So really very multifunctional. A lot of my clients who have them, they end up having to buy several from me because they say their dog or their cat took them because they're so
super
comfortable.
Comfy.
Yeah, and they're a little heavier, so it's almost like a little bit of weight on you as well when you lie down in restorative poses, which is really nice. So I would say these blankets are definitely my favorite go-tos.
Love it. And what would you say to someone that is watching this interview, that is watching this video, and maybe they are living with chronic pain, but they are in that phase that they don't want to move? They prefer to be in stillness, resting. What would you recommend to them? How can they start a yoga practice or maybe restart their practice?
Yeah, that's a great question. I get that a lot. It's like, I don't even have energy, or I have so much pain. Like, I don't know how to start. I'm in bed all day. I would say start in bed. Start with 2 minutes or 3 minutes of just watching your breathing. And I have a lot of resources on that as well. Just breathing, because that's in itself is movement. You're moving your lungs, you're moving your diaphragm. Your diaphragm's attached to all these different other muscles through your torso and your body as well. So even just breath itself, you're actually moving the body through. And that, when you start taking that breath in, you're not only drawing prana, the vitality and the life force in, but in a way you are distracting yourself from the pain, but distracting yourself in a healthy way, if that makes sense. So you're focusing on your breath, which takes your mind a little bit out of that pain. And just try that. Sometimes it works wonders in actually reducing the pain, because you're also calming your nervous system, you're soothing your nervous system, and as all of that gets a little calmer, sometimes the pain just gets a little quieter. So start in your bed, start wherever you are with just 2 or 3 minutes of breathing.
Great advice. Love it. And do you have some poses, go-to poses, or a routine that you could share with us for someone that is living with chronic pain?
Oh, yes, I do. And I've actually put together a little mini free series that you can find on my website. It's elaineyoga.com/starter kit. So just think of a starter kit for yoga, whether you're getting back into yoga because of pain, or curious about yoga because you've heard that yoga might help with at least just managing some of the pain. So that's elaineyoga.com/starter kit. And so over 3 days, you'll have an easy breathing exercise you can do in bed. There's some of my go-to poses you can do in bed or the floor or the couch to just get your body moving a little bit. And then there's also guided relaxation. Again, you can do it in your bed, your couch, wherever you are. Basically, whatever you find most comfortable. And all of these are 5 to 10 minutes. Nothing too long, so you don't feel like you're gonna get tired or drained from it. Just enough to just help you feel a little better to begin with.
Love it. So you have some tips there. Go and get them. And finally, promote yourself. Give all the information. How can people find you? Everything.
Yeah, so like I mentioned already, elaineyoga.com/starter kit is where you can get some of my free stuff, the mini series. On Instagram, I am at Elaine_yoga therapy. And I have a YouTube channel, which is Yoga with Elaine. I think I should have. I recently changed my name, so now I'm not sure. But if you type in everything you can find through my website or through my Instagram. So just go to those 2 places and everything is linked up.
Amazing. And anything else you would like to share with the viewers of the video podcast?
I would like to share that, if you currently are struggling with pain or with chronic illness, just start this tiny. As if you set your goal, we all have goals of what we used to do. Like before chronic pain, before chronic illness, you might have been a hiker, a runner, or you walk 3 miles every day. And yes, you should have that goal of getting back to that place, but you need to also start smaller and break that big goal into tiny, tiny, tiny goals. And if you think your goals are tiny enough, break them even smaller. This will help you get to your big goal, because if you set your goals too big and you end up feeling really exhausted or in pain more after your 30-minute of exercise, then you're going to feel pretty defeated. So if you start with just 5 minutes and take it little by little, week by week, then you'll get there.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Elaine, for sharing your passion, sharing these tips, and for the work you're doing. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Natalia, for having me. It's been a pleasure. And like I said, anytime I have the opportunity to just share with people that there's hope, I jump on that opportunity.
Yes, yes, yes. So if you're watching this video, like it, share it, subscribe, because this is a message everybody needs to know. Yoga really is for all bodies and for people with chronic pain and with chronic illness. So now you know. Thank you one more time, Elaine.
Thank you.
See you at your homes in a new episode of the Yoga for All Bodies video podcast. Bye.